Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel, and here is a positive sounding headline from newsbtc.com of all places. XRP above 100 SMA signals fresh increase, the big picture. Which makes me think about the very last video I put out, because it seems to me that even the not-so-friendly crypto media outlets, as far as the relations with, or the way that they'd cover Ripple and XRP, I've been seeing more and more positive headlines from them. Not that they've gone full convert and are willing to be reasonable people that, think that more than one cryptocurrency will continue to exist throughout time. I'm not saying they've, gotten to that level of rationality, but hey, you know what? Baby steps, right? Heading in the right direction. So I'm going to share with you in this video opinions from a number of different analysts. We're going to be talking about price here, but I do want to be clear that I don't have a financial background. I am not offering financial advice, and you absolutely should not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. I just think, as an XRP community member, it's fun to talk about these things, engage with the community, and make YouTube videos. That's all it is, though. Before we go any further, if you would please delicately tap that like button, I would definitely appreciate the support. And also, I recommend that you treat yourself, girl, by subscribing to the Moon Lambo channel. We're going to have a good time on here already. XRP is at 24.9 cents as I record this. Bitcoin at $10,965. Market cap for the asset class $349 billion, and Bitcoin dominance at 58.08%. It's been a while since it's been at 60% or above, and I am not complaining. Just to be clear here. Let's start with this though, because there's a headline here. This is from Bitcoinist.com. And it's not like, and look, so as friendly as they are to Bitcoin, I'll certainly acknowledge that not every headline they have is going to be friendly in terms of Bitcoin. But as far as the fundamentals of Bitcoin, this or that, they're not speaking about those types of things in negative capacity in conjunction with where they're saying they think the price is going to go, which is not what I see when they're talking about XRP. They have all sorts of aspects about fundamentals of XRP and what Ripple's doing with it, which are incorrect, intertwined with technical analysis, and that's where a lot of my beef really comes from these websites. But certainly I will acknowledge they have not always had positive headlines about Bitcoin, in which case, presumably, they're just saying what they actually think because they're pro-Bitcoin here. But the headline here is, these three technical signs show Bitcoin could soon reverse lower. All right, and then they have this little subheading, Bitcoin could soon reverse to the downside for these three reasons. And this is important to us as XRP holders because XRP undeniably does follow the price action of Bitcoin. I don't think it always will, but right now it does. So Bitcoin is primed to reverse to the downside despite managing to push from last week's lows at $9,800 to $10,850 now. The cryptocurrency is printing a series of technical signals that suggest it will soon fall rather than rally, as some have expected. Now, I've been saying this for a number of days now. I selfishly really want this to happen, not because it's Bitcoin, but because I believe that XRP will follow, and I'm actually still in accumulation mode. I still have a bunch of that worthless fiat in my checking account that I would like to allocate into cryptocurrency, specifically XRP. So if this happens, I think this would be a super duper, because here's the thing to remember, like whether this happens or not. Because there could be a final pullback, and then most analysts at that point say, okay, it'll be the final one. We're probably really going to go, and we'll see if that's true too. Like, I'm not pretending to know. But basically what the analysts that I'm following are saying is, yeah, it might go a little bit lower. For instance, I was watching a video again today from Blockchain Backer, and he's still holding firm that he thinks the lowest XRP would go would probably be 22.5 cents. Doesn't know if it's going to happen, but if it does, that's pretty much going to be it. And he's not stating that it is going to happen. He's just talking about probabilities here. And he also thinks that it's pretty reasonable to assume it could just go to the upside as well. And I was listening to DIY Investing, and he's at a point now where, based on the most recent information, that he literally said, and I can appreciate the honesty, he's like, I'm not sure which way it's going to go. And there are technical reasons I'm not going to get into. If you want like full analysis, go check out those guys' videos. Because I'm not a chart analyst. I'm just basically listening to a ton of them and then sharing with you what I learned, so you don't have to listen to as many sources, basically. But what he was saying too is like, it could go down, it could go, or it could go up. Okay, fine. Yeah, so that in and of itself isn't helpful, but here's what is helpful from my perspective. The way that I look at this is, look, I'm a long-term guy anyway. And so period. This is the bottom line for me. Whether it goes down or we really can start taking off from here, it functionally won't matter for someone like me, at least, because since I'm long-term, the macro trend is still bullish. Even if you have a short-term pullback, the macro trend on the whole, it's still undeniably bullish. I believe that, and most analysts I follow even say that. So while in the short term they don't know where it's going to go, it's kind of like, functionally does it matter? Well, only for someone like me in the short term, and usually it doesn't. Like, I'm not big on the short-term price action, but when I want to accumulate, it kind of does. It kind of matters a little bit, right? Just a little bit. But, you know, I also don't beat myself up because I know I'm not going to be able to time the bottoms. I'm not one of those people. I've been saying that for the whole time I've been running this channel. I don't think it's reasonable to do that. And that's why I think that it's also silly to beat yourself up. Like, if you invest in something, and even if it goes down by 50%, and this is just how I feel, at least for myself, because I've had that happen, like, there's no way you can time it. It's just very volatile. But I've also had it to where it's gone up many-fold. You know, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 20. Like, I've experienced that as well. And so, like, for me, since I'm going to be a long-term guy, it doesn't matter. Other than it would be nice if it goes lower so that I'd just throw even more money into it. Other than that, though, doesn't matter. Not going to change. It's not going to, like, make me actually panic sell or anything like that if it goes down, right? And then I'm not going to FOMO also if it starts going up. At that point, I'd be like, it'd make me less likely to purchase, frankly. So that's the funny thing. Like, as the rally starts, all sorts of FOMO is going to happen. People are going to be wanting to throw money in, and that's when I'll be at the point where, like, yeah, I think I'm done. I'll be like, I'm going to go ahead and tap the pause button here on this one. But here's the points that they were making about Bitcoin here in this piece. Bitcoin's one-day Tom DeMark sequential has formed a sell 9 candle, and these candles are often seen when an asset is poised to reverse to the downside, as 9 candles mark the end of a trend or an inflection point in a trend. And then the next bullet point, Bitcoin has flipped the pivotal supports in the $11,000 range into resistances with a confirmed rejection. And then the third one is hidden bearish divergences have formed between Bitcoin's price action and the Fisher Transform and Stochar SI. Now into this one, this is from newsbtc.com. I like the headline at least. XRP above 100 SMA signals fresh increase. The big picture. All right. And here's the little subheading. Ripple price showing positive signs. I'll just go ahead and correct that. XRP price showing positive signs. In the past 3 sessions, there were positive moves in Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP. XRP price formed a decent support base above the 24-cent level and recently climbed above the 24.5-cent resistance. The price gained pace above 24.8 cents resistance level and settled above the 100 simple moving average, 4 hours. There was a spike above the 25-cent level, and a new weekly high is formed near 25.8-cent level. And yeah, that very recently happened indeed here. And you know, they go on. They do cover, you know, potential rejection in XRP towards the tail end of this. But the way that they wrote the piece, it's more like they think that in terms of short-term price action, more likely to be to the upside. That's certainly the way that I took it here. Let me share with you a couple other opinions from analysts. Here's from Rakesh Upadhyay, writes for Cointelegraph here. Let me get down to the XRP section. All right, the repeated failure of the bears to sink XRP below 23.5 cents attracted buying from the aggressive bulls on September 18th. However, the bears have not thrown in the towel yet, as they are trying to stall the pullback at the 20-day exponential moving average at 25.2 cents. And so if the XRP/USD pair turns down from the current levels, the bears will once again attempt to sink the price below 23.5 cents to maybe as low as 22.9 cents. So that'd be the support zone. If they succeed, a drop to 19 cents is likely. Oh my God, I would love that. I selfishly would love to see 19 cent XRP. And for you out there listening that are done accumulating, I know you don't want that, and I don't blame you. And that's perfectly fine too. It all depends on what you're optimizing for. And I would like to purchase more here. But Anyway, the bulls pushed the price above the 20-day EMA. A rally to 26.8 cents is likely. And that's interesting, and he's not the only one that had to say something along those lines. Here's another analyst from Crypto Comes. This is Dennis Surchek, who thinks that XRP, I'll just be real brief with this, I don't want to read through all of it, because usually when I cover this, it's sometimes it's hard to stay away from some of the technical jibber-jabber. I do try to minimize that. Some of it just going to seep in if I'm just covering parts of a piece. I get that, but basically what he was saying here, maybe I can just go to the bottom. I think I can. Yeah, there you go. Here's what he said. So this is in summation what he had to say at the end of this whole piece that he wrote about XRP price. On the longer term, a bullish scenario prevails over the bearish one. Even though efforts are not enough to set local highs, one might expect a comeback of XRP to the resistance at 27.2 cents. In addition, the bullish divergence on the RSI indicator supports buyers' ongoing power. So there you go. So generally what I'm seeing from analysts today is more of a bullish outlook, which is sad for me because I'm going to buy more, but that's okay. I did want to cover one more thing, and I talked about this yesterday, but they wrote about this in Daily Hodl, so I wanted to bring it up again because this really resonated with me. I'm sharing it at the end of the video because I did pretty intensely cover this yesterday, but there are actual quotes, and that's the other part of the reason I wanted to share this with you. From dailyhodl.com, MicroStrategy CEO reveals why his company converted $425 million into Bitcoin. Right? And so Michael Saylor, the man behind one of the biggest independent publicly traded business intelligence companies in the world, explains in an interview with Anthony Pompliano why his company took a massive position in Bitcoin. Referencing the counterintuitive rise in bonds and equities, Saylor tells Anthony Pompliano that there's a problem with holding onto cash long term as an investment strategy. Yeah, there's a major problem. Check this out. There's just a few quotes here I want to share with you. This is good stuff. And there's one, I don't think it's in this piece. I read this early and I don't recall it being in here. And I wanted to share this with you too, because the way that he started looking at things, and I'm going to have to sort of paraphrase, but he's like, imagine that we took because they had $500 million on the balance sheet that they needed to allocate somewhere basically. And it's like, imagine if they were just to hold it, imagine we had all of this physical cash and then we just set it in our backyard, or I can't remember what he said, he might have said backyard, I don't remember, but you set it somewhere, and then every year, Uncle Sam comes along, the United States federal government, they come up and they light 2% of that cash on fire. That's effectively what's happening, but it's even worse than that if you consider the potential upside if you're to invest in other things. And that's why one of the things that they talked about, which I've discussed on this channel as well, is just how it is true that, if you're heavy in cash, if that's where the bulk of your net worth is, all of this inflation and money printing is going to be much worse for you. And so that's why I would agree with their sentiment that the printing of money, the debasement of the United States dollar, it actually does harm poor people more than wealthy people. And I'm not sure, I don't say that to be political whatsoever. It's just a matter of fact that the wealthier people have their money in assets, and the poorer people at the lower end of the socioeconomic ladder, they're more likely to be heavy in cash, however much they have. Even if it's not a ton, that's what they have. And that's losing value, purchasing power to inflation every year, 2%, on average, typically. And it's getting worse at this point, obviously, with all the money printing. So the wealthy people, they have as little cash on hand as possible, and they have all of their net worth tied up into assets, many of them scarce, including land, real estate, right? And so that just look at this, look historically what happens. It's going to keep going up, and the purchasing power of the dollar keeps going down. And so that's why I'm not trying to make this political. This is not about class warfare, because to be clear, I also think it's true, and I wish that Anthony Pompliano would point this out. Yes, that hurts the poor people more, but there's something to be said for personal responsibility, and there's something to be said for upward mobility. And he never talks about that. But upward mobility is a real thing. And I'm just saying, you don't have to work at McDonald's your whole damn life. Nobody is putting a gun to your head and making you do that, right? And so it is true, though, in the short term, this is actually hurting people. And so once you recognize the degree to which it's bad to have cash, it's more like, well, where do you need to allocate it? And that's where the fun thinking starts, because you got to put it into scarce assets, right? That's what I would say. So you can talk about real estate, you can talk about gold, silver, stocks, cryptocurrency. These are the types of things that seem to make sense. But here's a quote from this CEO here. He said, "First, I have a mega problem. And the mega problem is that I have a lot of cash and I'm watching it melt away. And I'm helped to realize that I have this mega problem by the insane V recovery in the bond market and the equity market and all of the talking heads." And then Saylor compares the crypto markets of today with the blue chips of a decade ago. And here's another quote. "What I want is something that might be cut in half that can go up by a factor of 10. By the way, that's what any intelligent investor wants. That's what you wanted when you bought Amazon in 2011. That's what you were getting when you bought Apple when the iPhone came out. That's what every rational winner's getting. You want a 10x upside." Which is why when I was speaking earlier, like I understand that, investing in crypto, like I've certainly had instances where I've purchased and it's gone down by half. I certainly have. But it doesn't mean it stays there, by the way. It's just volatile, right? Markets are liquid, so that's not surprising. Now, he also reveals what he believes to be the winning investment formula of the past 10 to 15 years. And listen up to this. This is interesting. The winning formula for the past 10 or 15 years is find a digital dominant network that has dematerialized some fundamental thing. The mobile network is Apple. The information network is Google. The video network is YouTube. The social network is Facebook. Even Twitter is the speech network dematerialized. Amazon is the retail network. You buy them when they're $100 billion in market cap, when they're 10x bigger than the next biggest thing, and they're $100 billion, they're probably going to crush everything. Now, how about that? And think about this in terms of market cap. Where's XRP today? Because he just said, hey, you want something that's only $100 billion in market. Well, the whole crypto asset class is, what did I say it was? 300 and something billion? I think I said 350, right? Is it around there? 349, yeah, 349 billion as I record this. So he's saying look for something that's only 100 billion. Well, okay, XRP today is 10 billion. And this is what I keep talking about when I keep talking about the importance of illiquid markets and how excited it is. Yeah, when it's to the downside, you don't like the volatility. I get that. And emotionally, that can be scary if you don't know what's going on, especially. But when it goes to the upside and you get the parabolic runs, that's where the excitement is. That's where the opportunity is. And you're talking about XRP as a scarce asset. It is rather scarce. I say don't listen to the Bitcoin maxi trolls when they're talking about 100 billion XRP being way, way, way too much. They don't understand the difference in drops versus Satoshis. It's only 47 times as many drops versus Satoshis. I don't think the average Bitcoin troll even understands what that sentence means. But it is the case. It's not that much. And also, most people on the planet are not invested in crypto. What's going to happen when way more people are in this a decade from now? I couldn't be more thrilled to be here this early. Oh, man. It's something. I guess I should probably wrap it up there, but it's such an interesting concept. I had to bring this up again because just what they were talking about, it resonated with me. And I've been talking about this on my channel for some time. The importance, to me anyway, of investing in scarce assets, and that's only part of it. Especially when it comes to crypto, I know it's got to be scalable. It's got to solve a real world problem. Unless it's Bitcoin, then apparently it doesn't have to do anything. I'm teasing. You can say store of value. Okay, that's the only one. Okay, fine. That's all it's going to do. All right, I'll wrap up there. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.